Welcome Aries and Aries cross-watchers to your second half of June reading. So I hope you guys have had a wonderful week, that your day is shaping up to be a good one. Oops. Okay, so we have the Three of Swords. Aries, strangely enough, okay, this is a different deck, so the imagery is going to be a little bit different. I actually feel like it almost feels like a new beginning, right? It's like that first little bit after you've kind of been torn to pieces by the world and you're starting to feel hopeful again. I almost want to I almost want to say, it just feels like you're starting to get back to yourself. I don't know what you've been going through, Aries. It feels like it's been a lot. But it does feel like you are, it's almost like you're at that, you've had your heart broken, you went through the thing, and you kind of seem to be at this stage where it's like you are just starting to kind of like cultivate feeling good again, feeling love again, right? So we have the Two of Cups and the Devil here. So, okay. Aries, I definitely feel like somebody has screwed you over here, okay? I kind of feel like there's someone that, it's almost like there's somebody here that's kind of a troublemaker, or, now this could be the past person that you are just getting over, right? It does feel like there's some history between you two already, and I feel like you kind of see this person as, it's like, if you saw them as someone really great before, you certainly see through whatever facade they're presenting to you, and you see the real them, right? It's like that they're, oh, sorry, I'm looking at the cards, not the camera. This person is toxic. And even if they are wrapped up in a good package, let's say, right? Like maybe they know what to say, they know how to say it. Maybe they're charismatic or suave, if you will. But this person, I feel like you're immune to their, I guess you could say, their spell or their powers or whatever it is that they kind of use to hook people in. You still may feel, maybe not all of you, okay? I feel for some of you, it's like that initial moment that you see them before it almost kind of like registers. I feel like either it's happening now or it happened in the past. When you first saw them and then you remember everything, it's like for that first second you'd be like, oh wow, and then you'd be like, oh, wait a second. And I actually feel like you have kind of graduated to that spot where it's like you're not even angry, you just kind of pity them now. And I feel like this person, it's almost like they have this energy where they're looking to come back in and make the same, it's almost like they're pissed off that you think that you can get away that easily. So it's like, I do feel that this person's gonna, come and try to do whatever they're gonna try to do, right? But I feel like part of them, the reason they're so angry is because they know they've already lost. So, trying to feel into if we're going to dig into your person, or sorry, this person or you. Okay, so we're going to dig into this person. What does Aries need to know about what they've been doing? So we have Strength reversed. Strength is about, so it is the Leo card, right? It's about, when it's upright, taming or learning to have control over those parts of ourselves that are animalistic, that are, your passion, right? Or this person's passion, right? Learning how to have command over themselves, but it's reversed, right? So Strength reversed with the Devil, whatever this person's been doing, they haven't mastered themselves. They haven't, whatever kind of demons they were fighting before, they're still fighting them. And it's almost like this person sees that those, you know, quote unquote demons as a strength. It's like they weaponize those sorts of things. And I feel like this person is someone that's just going to keep kind of coming at you. It's almost like until they find another host to latch onto, if that makes sense. I do want to say we have your card here, the Emperor, at the bottom of the deck. Again, this is a different deck, right? So it's the moment before. Hold on, I'll just grab the box 1 sec. It's this. So it's like the moment before the original cards were essentially taken as a picture, right? And I feel like you may not feel like you're where you want to be in terms of your own development, but it's almost like you see that you can have a different life. You see that things can be different. However life was with this person, whatever wasn't satisfying for you, whatever didn't kind of live up to the expectation that you wanted for your life, I feel like you see that, I feel like you can see that this person is nothing but bad news for you. I think we're going to pull one more card on them, just from this like Seer's deck. So we get one more card for Aries person. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. What's really interesting here is I feel like this person might I'm trying to feel if it's them or someone else. I feel like somebody in their life doesn't see the truth. And it's like maybe your person or this person here knows that they've lost, but there seems to be somebody around them that keeps feeding into whatever they used to believe about the situation, right? It's like they know they've lost. They can kind of feel that something's off. You're not responding the same way. But I feel like there's someone around them that is very unknowledgeable, I want to say. I feel like whoever this person is, they seem to, it could be, okay, it could be that there's someone here that's doing spell work on this toxic person to kind of keep them in really challenging situations. I don't usually say those sorts of things, so please, you know, is what it is, but that's what I'm feeling. It's almost like there's somebody here that is giving your person advice or something. There's something that's coming from a third party, not that kind of third party, but there's something that's coming from a third person that's influencing this person to not leave you alone. You know what I mean? It's almost like whoever this is wants to keep this person stuck on you until they lose something else. Right? So it's almost like that there's this third person, we're going to call them person because it doesn't feel like a third party sort of thing. It's almost like there's this third party that is trying to influence this one to act like a cocky jerk until they realize they've made a fool of themselves, right? And I mean, everyone's got their own karma to deal with, right? You see right through whatever this person's doing, and I feel like this person may have, whatever this is, I feel like this person used it to insult you all the time, used it to make you feel stupid. I don't think that they succeeded. I think it would turn into like an argument sort of thing. But they definitely tried to use it to wear you down, right? It's like if someone is arguing with you all the time about the same thing, doesn't mean that you'll agree with them, but it does mean that like eventually you'll just stop arguing and they'll think they've won anyway, and they'll think they've got inside your head and all that stuff. And it's clear that this person, whatever they thought they were going to do, maybe they have a trace of being, you know, a human being that you might want to be around. There still might be veins of that in there, but it's, you know, that it's too covered with, it's like, it doesn't matter, right? there's good and bad in everybody, right? Of course, we all know that saying. But it's like whatever good is left in this person, it's almost like, well, that's not enough. It's that, you know how it feels like the kind of energy where, you know, they say in memes, like maybe somebody does really like you, maybe they do have feelings for you, but if they're not doing anything about it, then it's almost like it's kind of irrelevant to the situation. And I feel like it's the same thing here. If this person has good in them, but they're not doing the things that would be congruent with being a good person, it's whether or not they have the capability is irrelevant at this time. So is there anything else Aries needs to know to let this person go? And then we'll get into the new. Anything else? So we have 3 cards. Oh, with the Hermit at the bottom. So we have the 6 of Pentacles, 8 of Swords, and King of Pentacles. So, I kind of feel like this might sound strange, but maybe it's a specific for, you know, a specific person or a few people, but what I'm seeing here is it almost feels like there's somebody here that seems to be very focused on you. Excuse me. I almost feel like there's someone here that feels ownership over you. It doesn't feel like this person, okay? They seem to be, it's the kind of person that, like, maybe they would get tight-lipped or kind of, you know, when people purse their lips. I feel like they might purse their lips if anyone brought you up, right? It's almost like if people were kind of said something to the effect of like, oh, did you see what Aries is doing? Da, 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 da. Right? I feel like this, like, one look from this person would be enough to shut them down. I feel like this person understands how this one got their hooks into you, if you will. And I feel like this might be somebody that's almost has this, like, kind of a gruff exterior, right? It's like the kind of person that might not, they might protect you, they might have your back, but they're maybe not the person that would kind of build you up verbally, right? It's someone that would show their love for you in the things that they do, but it's almost like as soon as there becomes those kind of like soft, squishy emotions involved, or maybe you would get grateful or just be like, oh, thank you so much, they'd kind of be like, ugh, you know what I mean? They might not respond to it well. It almost feels like it's their duty or their mission to look out for you here, but I feel like they're, to their credit, right? They're not the kind of person that's going to come running in saving you every time that you need to be saved, right? I feel like this is the kind of person that they just keep an eye on things, and it doesn't feel like they would kind of get involved. Hold on for a second. I mean, obviously, unless necessary, but I also feel that they kind of don't want to take this victory away from you. There seems to be a lot of pride coming from this person for you. It does feel like that kind of like protective energy, right? I'm not feeling either way if it's a family member, a romantic partner, or what kind of a relationship it is. But it feels like this person is kind of taking it upon themselves to look out for you. And it's almost like the energetics of, maybe this person hasn't come in and spoke to this one, but I feel like the energetics of this one has kind of been helping to edge out this guy. I say guy, it doesn't mean that that person is or identifies as a guy, okay? So, what can you tell us? Hold on for a sec. What does Aries need to know right now? What does Aries need to know? Excuse me. Excuse me. So we have the Four of Wands, which usually, of course, is the 1111 card, right? You know what? Excuse me. I actually feel like you may have been, and maybe you won't realize this until you're out of it, but I actually feel like you may have been living a life that wasn't the life for you. You know what I mean? It's almost like you were meant for something very different. And I feel like part of you knows that. It just kind of feels like there's this last little like bump up against this energy that's kind of been pulling you into obviously a place you don't want to be in. I feel like when you kind of step into the new, it'll feel like you're in a dream. Or it's almost like you're going to kind of be looking around like, is this real? Do I even belong here? And I feel like even if you feel like you don't, you do. It's just like you're in a almost like a new environment with new kinds of people. And it's almost like you may want to learn or like understand how you relate to this new type of group, person, energy, life, right? It's almost like maybe you've been living a life where there's people that are really cruel or toxic, vindictive, whatever, right? And you're going to go be around people that are, you know, maybe they're not perfect, of course, right? But they're good people. And it's almost like this energy of like, oh my gosh, this is what good people feel like. This is what, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy all the time. Excuse me, I'm not sure when my voice is being so uncooperative. But it definitely feels like you are stepping out of, it's like you're a snake shedding its skin. Not that you're a snake, how people sometimes look at them negatively, right? It's more that like regeneration. You've already let all this stuff go. And what's interesting is usually when the skin is shed, it's very, you know, soft and tender underneath, right? But I actually feel like you maybe have a bit of vulnerability, but there's nothing there that would leave you kind of, you know, exposed emotionally or vulnerable to this person or this situation or this life that you've been living. I don't think I'm explaining that well. You may have just shed the skin, but I feel like you understand how this kind of person works so well that they're not going to get the best of you. Whether, you know, you're starting something new or feeling vulnerable or whatever, you know exactly how you need to act around this kind of person to keep yourself away from them, right? So, can we get some advice? And then I'll close out the read here. So we have the Chariot, reversed with Judgment. I almost want to say, Aries, any Aries that I've ever met, when you guys want something, you do it. You know what I mean? It's like there's no obstacle. I'm hearing that song, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Ain't No Valley Low Enough, to keep an Aries from what they want to do. So what I actually feel like it's almost like it's time to allow yourself to grow. I feel like what you've been in has been not good enough for you. And I feel like you know that now, and maybe you don't know exactly what's going to be around the next corner, but I feel like it's almost like life is just going to friggin' flow after having to struggle and fight and push and, you know what I mean, and pull that stuff out of you. It's almost like instead of feeling like you're fighting against the grain, you're going to feel like your energy that normally would have to push this way, but you're kind of going against the current, right? It's like, well, now you're in a different place and everyone's going the same way. You know what I mean? And it's almost like you're going to look around and be like, oh my God, I didn't know what it felt like to be supported by other people. I didn't know what it felt like to be around people that want the same things I do. And I mean, look, I feel like it may have been very challenging for you to get out of this situation. I feel like you had to realize a lot of things about yourself that maybe didn't feel very good to realize. But you did it. The reason you're having this reward for all your hard work is because you did the hard work. And I feel like you know that. And this person here might be resentful, might be looking at you like, well, why do you have all those things? I should have those things. You're not any better than me. It's like, it's not about being better. It's that you did the work. So I love you, Aries. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.